Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday's special edition of Straight Shooting Sports Talk. And I am your host, Dujane Bland, and we're going to be talking about Super Bowl 51. Lots to talk about this game and where these teams stand and who's going to win. And it's been heavily documented that the experience of Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and this squad and their experience here in Super Bowl situations will be the deciding factor on them winning. And if you listen to a lot of the talking heads, it just appears that the Atlanta Falcons do not even exist in this game. I mean, I've heard it all. The youth of the Falcons, secondary, a lot of them being under the age of 24, and also not being in this position before. The fact that the Atlanta Falcons played the NFC South, discrediting how they got there because of their schedule. And I'm going to start with this. Now, we all understand the greatness of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and what they have accomplished, this being his seventh Super Bowl appearance. He has a potential to win his fifth. We understand that. It's very clear how good Tom Brady is. But let's go and take a look at their schedule. Now, you can say that Atlanta didn't play anybody, and they played a not so good NFC South division. But are we calling the likes of the Houston Texans, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the San Francisco 49ers, the abysmal New York Jets? Are we calling those teams Miami Dolphins? We calling those teams perennial players, top-notch football teams? I mean, they played the Cardinals early in the first game of the season. It was a 23-21 game. Obviously, it was without Tom Brady. I think it was with Jimmy Garoppolo. But anybody say anything about that? No, because it's Bill Belichick and it's Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady's just going to roll the helmet out. They're going to roll the helmets out, and they're just going to win the ball game. And I'm going to give you some notes here. You look at the previous playoff game with the New England Patriots and what they bring to the table. A lot of talk about Chris Hogan, and rightfully so. I think his speed is underestimated. I think that he as a player has been underestimated by defenses. It showed up in that Pittsburgh game, in that AFC Championship game, where Mike Tomlin and his defense decided not to make any adjustments at all and just let Hogan and Edelman and guys like that, Malcolm Mitchell, just run hog wild in the secondary, playing zone defense as if Tom Brady is some kind of rookie, picking them apart. But Chris Hogan, I don't care what Michael Irvin says, is no Julio Jones Jr. He's no Julio Jones. He's not even close. He's not even a Deshaun Jackson, in my opinion. Taking nothing away from what he has done. But there's ways of slowing down that offense. Now, they don't have perennial big-time wide receivers on the outside. They do have a pretty stout running game. You have to be impressed with LeGarrette Blount and Dion Lewis. They bring a pretty good combination. When running the football, Dion Lewis is phenomenal when being able to be used and catching the ball out of the backfield and making plays out of the backfield. Have to take that in consideration. But if you're going to play this defense or this offense coached and, play calls made by Josh McDaniels, you're going to have to jam these guys and be physical at the line of scrimmage. Can't let these guys just willy-nilly come off the ball as if they're just nobodies. I mean, you see what happens on many occasions. Tom Brady, other than having Randy Moss as a wide receiver, really hasn't had the big time wide receivers that other football players have had. And you have to jam these guys. And it's going to be imperative that Dan Quinn's defense gets after Tom Brady without being a blitz happy defense. Now, I know what they say about youth and experience, but experience is good. Sometimes experience is old. See, youth can outlast experience and age. Because in the fourth quarter, when all the hype is worn off and all the excitement's worn down and it's mano a mano, it's about who's got what left in the tank, right? And I really think this Atlanta defense can do that. And that's going to be imperative that they can stop the run. And we know during the season, not so much in the postseason, but that defense has had an issue with being able to stop the run, especially up the middle. And if they can do that, they definitely have a chance to win and win in a high-scoring game. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. But I don't think Dan Quinn, as a head coach, is getting enough credit. Now, you look, he's been a part as a defensive coordinator. He was a part of the Seattle Seahawks. I believe he was a part of that Super Bowl team as well. And if you look at what Dan Quinn has done, especially this year, they've adapted to their opponents. And I think you can take a look at the Green Bay Packer game as an example. And they've done it over and over again during the year. But you can look at the Green Bay Packer game as an example. If you watch the first game, I was there live, and how they handled that game. There was a mixture of a lot of things. They played zone a lot that first half, and they tried to switch it up. They weren't nearly as good as they were in the postseason, of course. Many will say due to injuries, but it is what it is. That Green Bay Packer team pretty much was the same team. Obviously, they didn't have Jordy Nelson, but pretty much the same team it was in the playoffs. They made adjustments in the playoffs to take away some things that Green Bay loves to do, and we're able to do that. But over the course of the season, Dan Quinn has done an excellent job of making adjustments with this defense and enabling them to continue to transform and adapt to each and every game situation, along with Richard Smith, the defensive coordinator. You look at Kyle Shanahan, what he's bringing to the table here. Has done an excellent job this year in play calling, in getting Matt Ryan into a rhythm, utilizing those weapons that they have. And let's be truthful here. When you look at the New England schedule, this is the number one ranked offense coming in here to the Super Bowl against a defense in New England that is the number one in points allowed. They're only allowing 15 points. But New England hasn't faced an offense of this magnitude. And I understand their best weapon as far as the Atlanta Falcons is Julio Jones. That's your big guy. That's your guy. It's your go-to guy. But this offense can operate without him. They have Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, Gabriel, Sanu, Andre Roberts. Hooper has showed up late in the season in early playoffs. Torlolo. They can hit you from many different angles. We've seen it during the playoffs where they take Julio away early for some strange reason, decide to go one-on-one with Julio. I believe that New England has the horses, and I think they can have a combination of corners. And I don't think they even have to shade coverage. I think they can go one-on-one. They do have two physical corners. Either one of them can cover Julio Jones. I don't know if you want to go one-on-one constantly with Julio Jones and keep taking a chance of him beating you deep. But Kyle Shanahan has drawn up some plays that enable them to scrub off defenders and get guys open 10, 12-yard outs and allowed them to be able to make plays. Getting guys open, the design has been really exceptional on Kyle Shanahan's part. What they're going to have to make sure of is that they have to understand they're probably not going to be able to run the ball up the middle. And I think plenty of teams have tried to do that. Pittsburgh tried to do that, was very unsuccessful. And I understand probably the offensive lines between Pittsburgh and Atlanta may not be on the same caliber, but the New England Patriots have proved time and time again that you're not running up the middle. Now, a great way to soften up the middle is to hit those intermediate throws down the middle of the field, get the passing game going, and that loosens up that defense. And if you start running some outside runs as well, whether it's through screens, pitches, whatever, get this defense flowing side to side, open the defense up, and then maybe it softens up the middle of the defense. But we all understand there's two great coaching staffs here. I mean, you could talk about Atlanta's haven't been here before, et cetera, but this coaching staff has coaches on it that have been in big game situations, and Dan Quinn has been in the Super Bowl. He understands what to expect and how to go about business. And they've done an excellent job all season long, keeping this team prepared, not overlooking the opponent coming out and attacking. As I said earlier, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and I think you're going to see 60-plus points put up on the board total, collectively. At the end of the day, though, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. And here's why. You can throw aside all the youth and all the fact that they haven't been here, et cetera, and how much Tom Brady's been here and the greatness of Tom Brady. But didn't they say that when the New York Giants that wasn't supposed to beat them, beat them? Didn't they say that? Sure did, and all of a sudden, Eli, you can call it a lucky throw or a lucky catch, all you want. That ended up in an L for Tom Brady. And the fact that this team has not faced the likes of an offense of this caliber is going to play a factor. But I think that they can get up on them early and do what Atlanta does, playing ahead, getting up on them early. And this defense is going to be physical. There's no zones going to be played. There's none of that. They're going to be physical with these defenders and these wide receivers, and that's going to be the factor. See, when you throw off timing, it's something that Tom Brady thrives on. makes him hold the ball a little bit longer, they're a little bit less effective. Now, I'll let Martellus Bennett beat me all day, but I'm definitely not going to let Chris Hogan beat me. Not like he beat them guys up in Pittsburgh. I don't want that on my conscience. If I'm Dan Quinn, if I'm Richard Smith, I don't want that happening. So at the end of the day, yes, we understand the greatness of the Patriots. We get it. Tom Brady's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in NFL history. We know that. But the Atlanta Falcons understand what's at stake and they love the underdog mentality. And one thing about it, when everybody is stacked on one side, and it seems like all these people are making tons of excuses of how the Patriots can win and why really the Atlanta Falcons should be happy to be here, usually doesn't vote well for that team when everybody's on your side. You don't think the opposing team is hearing that and seeing that? That's enough bulletin board material right there. That creates a huge chip. And you don't think Dan Quinn has got his team focused on that? See, Tom Brady may be the greatest, but Matt Ryan's the MVP and he's on fire. And the last thing you want to face is a team that really doesn't have anything to lose and a guy who's playing like MVP, like football, and he should be the MVP of the regular season, but he's playing phenomenal. And at the end of the day, I think this is a 38-34 ball game, and I think the Dirty Birds get their first Super Bowl championship of its history. Well, that's all for the show, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in to Straight Shooting Sports Talk. And this is going to be the end of the season. Man, it went fast. But season never stops here. We'll be covering the draft. We'll be covering team needs. Talking a little NBA and the NHRA. I don't know if you're a drag racing fan, but I am. We'll be talking about that. That is coming up in about I think it's less than 10 days. Man, I love Nitro. But you guys enjoy Super Bowl 51. And if you're a Falcons fan or a Patriots fan, hope it is what you hoped it would be. If you want to get at us, you can hit us up at our email address, straightshootingst@gmail.com. Shoot your questions over, topics. We'll talk about it. If it's good enough, we'll talk about it. Because we love talking shop with you. If you are on Twitter, you can hit me up directly at NotBland21. That's NotBland21. And check out my written work at sportsjourney.com. That's sportsjourney.com. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have some other outlets that we're going to be getting involved in. And hopefully I'll be able to make an announcement about that in the upcoming weeks. But until then, you guys have a great day. And this has been Straight Shooting Sports Talk.